Cool.
We are live. I'm here with Kevin Kohler,
It's
excuse me.
it's
And
Koehler
that's
is how it's pronounced, actually.
excuse me. Say it again.
Koehler.
Kaler. Okay. Well, I've
Yeah.
totally screwed this up totally. So I'm here
Oh,
with Kevin, and
I'm
so
used to it.
well, I can imagine that's a little unusual. But tell me about growing up in St. Louis.
Well, I can't technically say I'm from St. Louis City proper. I was out, West County, down
Okay.
Manchester Road.
Right.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
close enough.
I would say that, my whole musical life, although, I was always a fan, I didn't really start getting proper like into the culture of, live music until
Right.
I was in college, probably.
Well, tell me about that. How did that happen?
I went to Webster University.
Okay.
So, of course, meeting other students there, especially being a more liberal arts school, I met
Right.
a lot of people with really awesome tastes in music.
Okay.
One of them's out in LA now. He taught me about the ways of Mogwai and Boards of Canada and all kinds of
Right.
music that like really has changed my life ever since.
Yep.
But going into college, I had no idea about a lot of that music. So
Right.
I'm just like a sponge when it comes to music. I'm always listening to something new. It's very
Right.
rare that I even repeat listen to stuff. I mean, there was a certain
Really?
few years. Yeah, I think that probably from the age of like 18 to like 25, I think everything that I listened to was probably the first or second time that I'd ever heard it.
Wow.
And, of course, there's exceptions. You find certain stuff that you really gravitate to, but for the most part, I'm just always hungry to hear something new and different, and then
Right.
try to take
And
those.
that also worked in with you working at Vintage Vinyl. Is that right?
Yeah, a couple years later, again, just being a sponge and soaking up influences and recommendations from my coworkers, not to mention the customers, and just constantly hearing something
Right.
on the overheads the whole time. So,
Yes.
that's a big part of the discovery and the magic of vintage vinyl is just being
Oh,
like shopping
absolutely.
around. Yeah, and it's just a whole wonderful vibe in there. Like no matter what is going on outside the doors, you walk in
Right.
that room and you feel like
Yes.
you're in musical heaven, some
Well,
version of
definitely.
heaven.
Now, what do you do at the dark room? Tell me about that.
Well, they've been doing these outdoor shows now, so we're doing like 3 shows a week there.
Okay.
But for a time, I was doing all the booking and live production work.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, of course, since live events are under a number of restrictions, we
Right.
don't do nearly as much as we used to. So I'm kind
Right.
of on to the next thing at this point, which is my independent recording.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Well, I've been at it. I mean, pretty much as long as I've been playing music, I've been also recording my own music.
Right.
One of my heroes is Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails, and
Oh,
I always looked up to him because he did everything on his recordings, and basically I've taken to that, like using my own projects as a means of sharpening my skills.
Right.
But now, I've been doing a number of projects with other artists, for about, I don't know, 7-8 years. Been working on other projects, and one of my biggest people, one of the best musicians that I'm working with currently is Jackson Hamill of Mother
Oh,
Meat,
yes. Uh-huh.
who I actually met at Vintage Vinyl.
Okay.
I had seen his band at it was called River Des Press or something, like a zine convention essentially. And Mother Meat performed, and I just had this amazing sense of like, wow, these guys are like the Minutemen,
Right.
in the sense that they can play all kinds of genres, from
Right.
whether
Yes.
it's like the more typical like punk genre, which they may have been lumped into, but they
Right.
would be doing funk or folk or,
Exactly.
spoken word, like hip hop influence even.
Yes.
So I've been working with Jackson ever since then. I had seen him walking, through the aisles of vintage vinyl, and I was like, hey, that's the singer of that band that I saw the other week.
Right.
And I thought they were great, so I just went up to him and I just told him that. I was like, you guys are really good. My name's Kevin. Like, I would love to work with you. And ultimately we did end up working together, and that relationship has been going on for about almost 5 years now.
Right.
So he's a prolific musician and songwriter, very underrated. It's very kind of heady music. Like it's Frank Zappa kind of influenced. And
You've got a Ween influence too in your music, clearly.
What's that?
You like Ween as well, and I do too. I do too.
How do you tell?
Well, the playlist that you posted, I'm a big fan of Ween, and I noticed that you were too.
Yeah. Well, Ween, my discovery of Ween and my discovery of weed kind of came hand in hand, and it was a perfect balance.
Right.
And actually, so my brother, he's the reason why I'm into music for real to begin with.
Mhm.
My older brother, Tim, he's 8 years older than me.
Okay.
I remember the first time he was a freshman in college, I believe, when he played me Ween's Pure Guava album. And yeah, it's great. But, being a 12-year-old or like a 10-year-old
Right.
at the time, I did not get it. I was actually angry at him for playing.
Exactly. I totally get that. I totally get that.
You have the pitch shifted vocals on that first track, and it's all like slow, and you're just like, what is this? I mean, my young mind was just confused as to, is this even music? Like, but I've come to realize that kind of thing is such a rare kind of like beauty in and of itself, that if music music doesn't always have to give you the most wonderful emotions, although that's why we always go back to it. But like, I feel like if a music makes you feel like mad or confused, like that's art as well,
Yes.
It's all should be, given the proper platforms to do its thing and make those feelings felt.
And so I now heard that you got a Valentines song, so play that for us.
Okay, well, yes, I've got the tune on Spotify, so today's the official debut, world premiere on all the streaming sites. You can also download it on the Bandcamp, so that's obviously offbeat.bandcamp.com. I always recommend Bandcamp as a means of fans to support the artists directly.
Right, and now I'm going to remove myself from the stream, so you've got this show to yourself.
Okay, well, all right. I wrote this song about 6 years ago. I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and it got me through a hard time then, and hopefully it'll maybe shine some light in your life today. It's called Save My Love, and it's a Valentine's Day exclusive here with Dave Wiley. Thank you for having me on, Dave. I've waited here so long without you. You're not sure where you belong, and for that I can't blame you. But what you mean to me is more than I could imagine. So come back and give it a chance. I think that we could be magic. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my I've seen what the other girls have to offer. They can't do anything that you don't already do better. It's hard for me to prove. Tell me, what do I have to do? If there's one thing that I know I can do, it is save my love for you. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love for you, dear. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. All my heart, all my soul, all of these words I sing are so pointless without you. But even though you're gone, it feels like you never left me. I hope this won't last long, our love could be never ending. You turned my life around with the love that was so profound. If there's one thing that I know I can do, it is save my love for you. So come back to me, please come back to me. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love for you, dear. Don't you know I'm gonna save all my love, all my love. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. That was Save My Love.
That was terrific. And
Thank
now
you.
I mispronounced your name, and I am Dale Wiley, not Dave Wiley. So we did it. Both of us did that.
Oh, geez.
And that actually makes me feel good. So do you have another song? Is that right?
I have one if you want to hear another one, for sure.
Sure,
I'll do one more.
Good. I like that first one. So let's do another one.
Thank you. So yeah, the last one I just did is on the upcoming album Infinite Will. But the one I'm going to play now is from the first album called Sound Sketches, 2010 to 2015, kind of a compilation album as I was refining my recording and songwriting and all the skills that go into making a record. So I don't usually, if this was a real live show, I would not play these two songs back to back because they're in the same key currently. But I figured since we're kind of doing something a little different here, nobody will really mind. So, okay, this one's called Heaven Ain't All That Far. Explore all that there is and more, but don't ignore the things you cannot see. Find the truth that was left behind. find what is and what can't be. Sing, 'cause heaven ain't all that far. Just think the way it could be if everyone would sing with me. Say what you need to say. Do what you got to do. Prescribe whatever will make you thrive. Decide what you really need. Sing, 'cause heaven ain't all that far. Just think the way it could be if everyone would sing with me. Fight for what you believe is right. Accuse the ones that do abuse. But you gotta smile, 'cause you're gonna be here a while. Believe the truth is here and we're gonna be okay in the end. Sing, 'cause heaven ain't all that far. Just think the way it could be if everyone would sing with me. All right, that was that one. So definitely check out the Sound Sketches album for 15 other songs to check out there. So in the meantime,
am I also right that you worked with Tony Visconti? Is that right?
Yes, that was one of the best experiences of my life.
Okay, tell me about
it. Tony Visconti, we met him through Christine Young, who is a brilliant artist, originally from St. Louis.
Right.
And she moved out to New York City because she had sent her demo to Tony, knowing his work that he had done with David Bowie, T-Rex, etc. And Tony loved what he heard, and she's been in New York ever since. I think that was the early 2000s.
Right.
So in the meantime, she would always come back to St. Louis and play around the holidays to still visit family and be here around Christmas. And she had heard my band Ilphonics perform, or maybe just heard our recorded music and asked us to open up for her. And so we played this show. It turns out we didn't know at the time. We didn't know until maybe a couple of years later that Tony Visconti was actually at that show.
Wow.
And so he had seen us once, and then he came to see us over around Thanksgiving a couple years later, and I think even a third time before he actually approached us about working with him. And
how cool is that?
We're so blessed. I mean,
right.
Just the time in the studio that we spent with him, as I said, it was amazing. But just like some of the most informative and kind of life-changing few days of my life, because I learned so much as a engineer and producer in my own right. You know, to be learning from one of the best masters who's in that field, ever.
That's incredible. Yes, entirely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stories I could tell from that. I mean, I'll say just one. My favorite story is, if I'm in the studio, I can often overthink what I'm doing. I'll be doing, a solo, but I'll do it. I'll have to do a number of takes before I feel like I really did it right or well. Yeah. Every artist has that kind of like their own worst critic thing. But to have someone like Tony there to tell you when you've actually got it right. And so what I had done is played through only not even a full take of our song "Make Your Move."
Okay.
That's under the name Illphonics. "Make Your Move," produced by Tony Visconti. That I only played like the second half of the song and did some, just kind of like little licks like that on my electric. And I'm thinking after finishing that take, they stopped the tape, and I was thinking, I'm going to have to do at least 3-4 more of those. But Tony goes over the microphone. He just says, "That's great. Come on in." And I'm like, wait, what? I for sure did not get that right. But what Tony heard is he heard everything he needed for the song, that actually all he had to do was move a couple of my licks, the things I had played on the guitar in different spots. Like he made a couple of very choice edits that when we listened through the track with those edits made, Tony and I shared a high five, and it's like one of my favorite things that has ever happened to me.
So cool.
So,
and again, tell me how they could reach you online. Where can they find you?
Obviously Offbeat on Instagram, on Facebook, and that's the 2 words. It's not just Offbeat. It's obviously Offbeat. Okay. And all my music is on Bandcamp and Spotify, Apple Music, all the rest. So that, and then of course, checking out Illphonics,
right?
ILLPHONICS. That's on Spotify and all the rest as well. So I continue. We have a couple of, in addition to my album coming this year, another obviously Offbeat record. Illphonics will be releasing a new record this year as well. So
that's wonderful. And now I'm going to leave you alone because you're in the dark. I could have reached. All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on, though. This was fun. Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Okay. Peace.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right.